rollie stole with the rollie on. What was our getaway car, a Jag portfolio? You hear me? Hey, I heard I had some sneak dissers. Whoever feeling hot, that AR got a heat sensor. Cuz said don't entertain them hungry niggas. I wish I would pay attention to these homeless niggas.
Y'all let me know how that new intro looks though, for real. But today we are going to talk about 5 bold predictions for 2019. Now, disclaimer, before y'all kill me in the comment section with some of y'all comments and shit, especially when these things come to pass or don't come to pass, y'all come back to this video and say, yo, Mustard, what the hell was you saying? But look, it's a disclaimer right now. Not everything I'm saying is probably going to happen, but I definitely think at least one out of these 5 things will happen. But without further ado, make sure y'all follow me on social media. Links are down below, especially on Twitter and Instagram down below. And also, you guys, if you guys are not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and subscribe to my second channel. Drop a like. Also, you guys, make sure y'all comment down below your opinions and your thoughts on this video. But let's get on with the first prediction that I have. Now, the first thing I gotta say is about Kevin Durant's free agency decision in 2019. Now, sure, 2019 may be a year where you have multiple free agents such as Kawhi. You also have Kyrie Irving, Jimmy Butler, and there is a chance that Kyrie could team up with KD or Jimmy Butler could team up with KD, or hell, even Kyrie and Jimmy Butler. But I don't think Kyrie or Butler will be leaving their respective situations. For one, Kyrie's already even said that he wants to stay in Boston, and right now, even though Boston has had their struggles, if they can manage to trade some pieces and get some other assets and things along that nature, there's no real reason for Kyrie to leave that situation. In the situation of Jimmy Butler, the Sixers have already said they're willing to give him the max contract, and Jimmy Butler, let's be clear, that was his main goal. That's one of the real reasons why he wanted out of Minnesota. It was really about that money, and to see Cat and Wiggins get that bag and he didn't, it pissed him off, and I can't blame him. So that's why he went to Philly, and Philly is granting him that wish, so I don't see him leaving that situation. But in the case of Kevin Durant, where will he end up in 2019? I think he's going to stay in Golden State, but here's the catch. I think he's only going to sign a 1-year deal. I don't see Kevin Durant staying long-term in Golden State, and honestly, I don't see Kevin Durant even retiring with Golden State. He is a guy who is really focused on what people think about him. I mean, this is a guy who's arguing with kids on Instagram, arguing with people on Twitter, making fake accounts. You know, Kevin Durant cares what people think about him, but even at that, I still think he's going to stay in Golden State for 1 more season. That will probably affect Klay Thompson's money, but still, I think it's going to be a 1-year deal that KD signs, so Klay can still get some more money, but in that 1 year, he's probably going to have to shave off a little bit off the first year's salary. But I definitely think that he's going to stay there, try to four-peat, which is something that nobody in history has ever done, which is a big enticing offer for the Golden State Warriors to give Kevin Durant, and be the first player to do that, win 4 straight championships and 4 straight finals MVPs. I think that is something that will definitely be a big offer to KD, and that will probably make him stay for 1 more year. But something kind of has to happen that will definitely secure KD staying, which leads into my second prediction about the other Golden State Warriors future that we really don't know, and that is Draymond Green. Yes, not Klay Thompson, because I think Klay Thompson will stay. He's already even said that himself. But Draymond Green, I don't see him staying past this season. I don't think he'll be traded before the trade deadline or anything, but I definitely think he'll be traded this upcoming offseason. Now, I don't know who they're really going to get for Draymond, but the reason I think they're going to trade him is, for one, there are obviously still issues with him and KD. And Draymond Green, I'm sorry, as a shooter, he has not gotten better. He's only gotten worse year after year after year. I mean, this is a guy who was shooting 38% from 3. That went to 31%, and now it's not even touching 30%. So I definitely think that it's a big deal how bad Draymond is playing. It is definitely affecting the offense. And when you consider the fact that Draymond is an expendable player, you can find players like him all over the league. Sure, they don't all do the same thing that he does, but Draymond is special because he's in that system, not because of his own talent. Now, where they could trade him, they could possibly trade him to a lottery team and get a pick, and that will definitely boost the Golden State Warriors options. And if they do trade him for a lottery pick, who knows if they even keep that pick, because they could still trade that pick for another player that can put them completely over the top or secure another championship for them. And if they do that, good luck for the NBA. Or possibly they could trade it, get a player in the draft, and then re-sign DeMarcus Cousins, because everybody has seen the report that he may stay past this year, especially if he doesn't play at a really good level, or if he doesn't play at all. He may stay in Golden State, and if they keep him for another year and another year after that, they will get his bird rights and they will just completely go over the salary cap again. Because if KD does leave after next year and they trade Draymond Green before next season, they will definitely have a lineup of Steph, Klay Thompson, and DeMarcus Cousins going forward, and that will definitely be more than enough to still compete in the Western Conference. So I definitely think that when you look at this roster, Draymond Green being traded is not only going to help them this upcoming year with KD and Klay and Steph and the crew to win 4 straight championships, but it's going to help them even going past that if KD leaves them. So that's why I think Draymond being traded is something that's probably going to happen this upcoming offseason. But aside from Draymond just getting traded, there's another player that I think will be traded, but not in the offseason. I think it's going to happen before the trade deadline, and that is Anthony Davis. Yes, I think Anthony Davis will be traded to LA before this trading deadline. And the reason I say before the deadline is because of the fact that LeBron James is out right now, and we really don't know when he's coming back because it is a day-to-day injury. And with LeBron out, you can give Brandon Ingram some more touches, boost his value up a little bit higher, inflate some of those stats, let's just call it what it is. And if he can ball enough to the point that you can trade him for Anthony Davis or make him a key piece in the Anthony Davis trade, I definitely think that is possible, because a package of Ingram, also Caldwell Pope for the contracts, and I'm sorry, I know a lot of people are going to be angry about this, but Kyle Kuzma as well, I definitely think that is something that you got to do, because when you're getting a generational player in Anthony Davis, look, Kyle Kuzma could be a really great player, but AD's already great. He's already solidified as a top 10 player in the NBA and possibly top 5 by talent alone. So you definitely have to look at that and say, look, we got to give up Kuzma, because as great as some people think Kyle Kuzma can be, that is all potential. That is not something that is guaranteed. Anthony Davis, we've seen him dominate the league. We've seen him be a top 3 MVP candidate. We've seen enough from Anthony Davis to the point that we can say he is a bona fide superstar, and pairing him with LeBron to especially help LeBron when he's declining or going through that phase will be more than enough to help the Los Angeles Lakers going forward. So I definitely think Anthony Davis being traded to the Lakers is something that will more than likely happen. If not before the trading deadline, I still can see it happening in the offseason as well, but I predict that it will happen before the trading deadline in February. Now, the next prediction that I want to make is about the other free agent that everybody has their eyes on, because if Anthony Davis goes to the Lakers and Kevin Durant stays in Golden State and Kyrie and Jimmy Butler are staying where they're staying, I definitely think that will make Kawhi Leonard want to stay in Toronto. And look, I understand people are saying, why would he stay in that kind of city and that kind of market? But for one, markets are not as important as some people like to make them out to be. And if you're winning basketball, who cares about your market? Who cares? And I know some other people are saying, what about Boston? What about Philly? And what about Milwaukee? Well, what about Milwaukee? They haven't gotten Giannis another superstar yet, and Boston still has some stuff they need to work out, and Gordon Hayward's contract is going to really hurt them when it comes to signing players and trading for assets and things like that. And also when it comes to Philly right now, if Ben Simmons can't get a jump shot, that's a recipe to defeat that team from anybody, okay? Yes, from anybody. With the right coaching, you can defeat Philly because of the fact that Ben Simmons doesn't have a jump shot. And even if they advance, Kyle Lowry will be coming off of the books after next season. Yes, in the year of 2020, Kyle Lowry will be coming off of the books. And if you remember earlier with my predictions, I predicted that KD will stay in Golden State for 1 year so he can survey the landscape after everything has gone down. And if KD sees that Kawhi is still balling in Toronto and they got space to sign him, why would they not sign him? Why would they not pick up Kevin Durant? And aside from the fact that KD could potentially end up in Toronto in 2020, there are other factors that could persuade Kawhi Leonard to stay. For one, they're already winning games, and they will more than likely end up as a top 3 team in the Eastern Conference for the next 2 to 3 years. And also, when you look at the fact that they have space when Kyle Lowry's contract is up, it's not just KD that they can possibly sign. There are other players that they could possibly get in that offseason. And not just that, this management has proven that they are willing to take any type of risk to get any kind of players. And with Kawhi Leonard seeing that, and he can get the most money from them, that's more than enough, in my opinion, to persuade him to stay in the Eastern Conference and dominate that conference with this team and become the best player that the franchise has ever had. Now moving on to the next prediction that I have, it is about the Washington Wizards and what they're going to do this upcoming offseason, because let's be real, they need to trade either John Wall or Bradley Beal. And my prediction is after seeing Bradley Beal ball this season, because I think Bradley Beal is going to shine in John Wall's absence because he stepped up last year, and I definitely think he's going to hold his own this year. And I think the Washington Wizards front office is definitely going to make a move and a play about John Wall, because that contract, it hasn't even kicked in yet and it's already causing problems because John Wall, first of all, he's out of shape and he's just not playing well, and he's never ever been a good three-point shooter. He's been horrible as a three-point shooter. Yes, last year was an anomaly, and I said that in that video, because this year he has been awful and his decision making on the court is even worse. So when it comes to John Wall, I think they need to trade him sooner rather than later, and that sooner has to be this offseason. Now who I think they're going to trade him to is to the Phoenix Suns for that first round pick. Now the pieces I think they're going to get back is going to be TJ Warren, also probably going to get Josh Jackson, and the pick, because for one, TJ Warren is a really solid player and very underrated and having a really good season, and he can stretch the floor. And though Josh Jackson has been a relative bust so far throughout his career, I definitely think he can be a okay starter in the NBA. I think he can develop into that, and going to Washington will be a whole new fresh start. And obviously the first round pick next year will definitely be a top 3 pick, and in a draft that consists of Zion Williamson and RJ Barrett, it will more than likely end up as the first or even the second pick in worst case scenario. And even in the worst case scenario, they'll still get a top 3 pick, and them as well, they will also potentially have a top 10 pick if they just completely tank the rest of the year, and they will definitely be in the lottery. So I definitely think this is a trade that will benefit both sides, and it's something that needs to happen this offseason if both of these organizations want to move in the right direction. Now moving on to the next prediction I have, it is about the Portland Trail Blazers future moving forward. Now I know there are a lot of questions about this roster because they did extend Nurkic, so I don't really think they're going to trade him. And when you have CJ McCollum, who I think has relatively played well over the past few years, I think there's one guy that they need to trade, and that's Damian Lillard. And sure, yes, Damian Lillard is the best player on this roster without question, and a top 20 player in the NBA, but it is obvious that the Portland Trail Blazers, they are going absolutely nowhere right now, and they need to move forward as they are in no man's land. And I think that a trade with the Utah Jazz will be perfect with Damian Lillard, as a trade involving Damian Lillard for players such as Derek Favors, Joe Ingles, Jay Crowder, and next year's first round pick as well would definitely benefit both sides. Now some people may be saying, what about Ricky Rubio? They already have him at point guard. Well, Ricky Rubio will be coming off of the books next offseason, so I definitely think that that's not that big of a deal. And with Ricky Rubio coming off of the books, that's $14 million gone off of their salary, and they can also sign another player in free agency, because next year's free agency class, it's going to be crazy. So I definitely think that it will benefit both sides. On the Utah side of things, offensively, they need that firepower. And Damian Lillard has been in the backcourt with CJ McCollum, and defensively that has not worked out. But being in a backcourt with Donovan Mitchell can play really solid defense. And I think that team is already great defensively. So sure, if they lose some pieces such as Joe Ingles, Jay Crowder, and Derek Favors, they still have Mitchell and Rudy Gobert that are really good enough defensive pieces in my opinion. And then when you look at the Portland Trail Blazers side of things, they get Derek Favors, who's a solid defender in the paint. They also have Joe Ingles, who can play 3 and D. You have Jay Crowder as well, who can play some defense, and sure, he isn't a great 3-point shooter. He's very streaky, but he can shoot the 3 ball from time to time, and you get a first round pick. So I definitely think this trade is something that needs to happen to help both sides, because both sides right now, they're looking like they're about to head into no man's land. And in the Western Conference, where things are only going to get tougher and teams are only going to get better, no man's land is the absolute worst place that any organization can be in right now. Now, the last prediction that I have is for the MVP. Now, look, there are numerous players right now that are balling at a very high level in the league right now. I mean, you have Giannis, you have Kawhi, you also have Joel Embiid, but there is one guy that I think will win the MVP, and I'm sorry, I'm going with LeBron James, because even though LeBron will be with Anthony Davis, I still think the media is just gobbling up this idea of LeBron bringing basketball prominence back to LA, and that is a big deal in the MVP conversation. The media has a huge influence on that. The way they're talking about LeBron every single day. I mean, if it's not ESPN, it's Fox and Skip and Shannon. If it's not them, it's Nick Wright. If it's not Nick Wright, it's Colin Cowherd. Like, everybody is talking about LeBron bringing prominence to LA. And right now, with him playing less minutes and still putting up these crazy ass numbers, it is ridiculous how great LeBron is playing. And the Lakers are winning. That is something else people are not saying. The Lakers are winning. They are proving the doubters wrong. Now, sure, right now their seeding doesn't show it because LeBron went down. And you know, if you lose 2 games, that completely changes your standing in the Western Conference. But also, that contributes to the story that when LeBron went down, the Lakers, they struggled a little bit when it came to winning and some of their success. So that is definitely going to help LeBron James in the MVP conversation. And if the Lakers manage to win over 50 games and secure a top 4 seed in the Western Conference, I don't see why they would not give it to LeBron. And the media has been trying to give LeBron the MVP, let's be real, ever since he went to Cleveland, because they really want that narrative of LeBron and Jordan having the same amount of MVPs to be used in the GOAT conversation. So I definitely think LeBron winning the MVP is not only possible, but in my opinion, I think that's going to happen. Look, I love Giannis, I love Embiid, I actually love what Jokic is doing this year. He's proving me completely wrong right now. And also, shout out to Kawhi Leonard, because he was my pick earlier on in the year, but right now, what I'm seeing from LeBron and how the media has a huge influence on this award, I just can't overlook that. So you guys in the comment section, let me know your thoughts on this video. Drop a like down below. Subscribe if you have not subscribed. Subscribe to my second channel. Follow me on social media. The links are down below. So without further ado, you guys, Happy New Year. Let's pray 2019 basketball in the NBA is better than it's ever been. So without further ado, y'all have a great day. I'm out. Peace.